Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Cozy Chat. Today, we have a very exciting episode because we are going to have an easy, fun conversation with my good friend, Kieran. She is on the show today. Actually, it was your idea to come on the show. I told her I had a YouTube channel, and she said, I should come on the show and we should do an easy English conversation. So here we are. She's one of my very good friends, and she's also a language learner. So we should have some really fun things to talk about.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so hi, Kieran.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kieran, and I moved to Spain 3 years ago from the United States with my 2 kids who are almost 8 years old and 6 years old. And my husband is actually from Spain originally, so that's why we moved here.
Cool. Nice. And how do you like it here so far?
I really like living here. It's definitely very different, but it's been a really good experience because of people like Maria.
It's actually really funny. We met on Instagram.
That's true.
You sent me a message, right? I got like a random Instagram message from someone that I didn't know. And she's like, hey, do you live in Spain or where we live? And I was like, yeah. And she said, I might be moving there. And I was like, cool. And we talked like a little bit. And then I didn't hear from you for like a year. And then I think it was a year later, I messaged you and I was like, hey, are you moving here in the end? She was like, yeah. And she said, I'm moving like a kilometer away from where you live, like next week. And I was like, oh, cool. So it was kind of funny. Then we met and we became friends.
The reason I had the idea for coming on the show today is because I myself am learning how to speak Spanish better. And there's lots of videos online or podcasts where they speak in slow Spanish. And some of my favorite ones are ones where 2 people are having a conversation.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you watched those.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, cool. Kieran is fluent in Spanish. She speaks very good Spanish. Actually, just the other day, I heard her speak a lot of Spanish. And before that, I think I hadn't heard you speak in a long time. And I was like, wow, look at Kieran. She's like really speaking well. So tell us, how has your Spanish learning journey been for you? And how has that been for you?
It's been long. 2 years before I moved here, so 5 years ago, I started trying to learn Spanish with a tutor and also through different apps and things like that. And then when we moved here, I also got another tutor and was learning Spanish.
A tutor is a teacher, like a private teacher, right?
Yeah. And it was going well, but it was challenging to advance, especially with some of the more specific verbs and changes that happen in Spanish when you're talking about things that happen in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, it was a little challenging for a while because I was very scared to speak in Spanish. I was scared to make mistakes, and I was scared people were going to be upset with me making those mistakes. So I didn't use Spanish for a while, or I think it was my own fear that prevented that.
Yeah.
When I became more comfortable here and started meeting more people, then I started speaking in Spanish more and not really caring if I did make a mistake. And especially speaking in Spanish with people who could maybe correct me in the moment as well was helpful. And what I did was find someone who wanted to learn English, and they wanted to learn, and I wanted to learn more Spanish. And then we would meet and have conversations where we helped each other, and that was really helpful. So I think the biggest obstacle, even now, is just the fear of speaking.
Right.
And when I'm calm and able to make mistakes, then I learn faster.
Right. I think that's everybody's biggest obstacle. Like an obstacle is like something hard to overcome when learning a language is the fear. And the fear of messing up is just in your mind.
It's
like
justify.
It's just in your mind, but it has so much control over us.
It's true.
It will prevent you from doing something that you can really do just because you're like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to. This happens to me still also. And I realize when I forget that I'm speaking the language, that's when I speak the best. It's, for example, if I'm meeting a new person and I want to speak well, in Catalan, for example, I will think, oh gosh, what am I going to say? How do I say it? And then I'll start speaking and I'm like it just doesn't come out. But if I like forget that I'm speaking it and I just start, it just comes, right?
Yes.
It's all in your head. And it just comes with practice, doesn't it?
I think so.
It really does. Okay, so for learning Spanish, what has been your strategy or what has worked for you? What has helped you to learn? Do you do grammar, vocabulary, listening? I don't know. Do you watch TV or just speaking with people? What?
I think all of those things.
Yeah.
One really important thing is listening. I think I can do that in my own time, whether it be like on YouTube, like a video like this, or a podcast. And then sometimes I think of how I would respond in that language. So sometimes I'll pause the podcast and try to figure out, or the video and try to figure out how I would construct a sentence. And then going back and checking if that was correct or not. And sometimes it's just about learning also like a new word and then challenging yourself to use it in sentences or with friends or a teacher, or writing down a sentence and then checking it online to see if it's correct or not.
Yeah.
And then you feel comfortable using this word and then the next word and the next word, and somehow they start to come more easily, especially words that are used in common conversations.
Yeah. It's a cool feeling, right? Like when you hear a word, you don't know what it is, you like look it up, you kind of practice it to yourself. Mm-hmm. And then in one moment, you're like, I'm going to use the word. And you say it like while you're speaking, you're like, I'm doing it. I'm like, you know, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
But sometimes you can mess up the words.
Yeah. Of course. So do you have any funny or embarrassing stories of when you were learning Spanish?
There was one time where I was just learning how to speak Spanish. And remember, my husband is a fluent Spanish speaker. And I wanted to say, I'm married. And instead I said, I'm tired, because the words are very similar in Spanish. I'm married is casado, and tired is cansado.
Cansado, yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there can be times like that. And then sometimes you don't realize it. Like in the moment you say something and someone just kind of looks at you like, oh, and you're like, why are they looking at me like that? I just said I'm married. And then later you realize I didn't say that. Like I said,
Yeah. Luckily, I did make this mistake with my husband, so it was a safe space.
Right.
But from then on, I definitely knew the difference between those two words. So it's a benefit to make mistakes.
Yeah. It is. And it's always like a funny memory, right?
Yeah.
Especially once you understand it well, you're like, oh, remember when I made those mistakes?
Exactly.
Back to living in Spain. Are there any interesting like differences, or what would you say is the biggest difference between Spain and the United States for you?
Well, there's lots of little differences, but one thing that really surprised me when I first came here, off the top of my head, now that I'm thinking about it, is that there are playgrounds and then bars next to the playgrounds.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And so it was really nice because I could have a water or a coffee or a glass of wine, and then my kids could play on the playground safely.
That's a really good one, actually, because in the US you will never find that. Like if you are in at a place with a playground, then there's never going to be like a restaurant beside it where you can like eat or drink something and watch your kids. It's always like you're at the playground and your kids are playing and you're like, here I am.
I really wish I could have a coffee right
watching my kids play again. And no, I love that. I love that out here.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you really miss? What do you miss about the US?
I really miss my family and friends.
Yeah.
But also there's a store in the US called Trader Joe's. Yeah. And I really miss Trader Joe's.
Me too.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's is a store, I think it started in California. They have really inexpensive, good products and food, great snacks, fresh products. Like
Great snacks.
great snacks.
And great frozen foods. And it's nice when you're a busy family to go ahead and easily grab something that you can make into like a healthy, easy meal pretty quickly.
I used to get those bean burgers, like black bean burgers.
Those are so good.
They were so good. Like,
Yeah, one difference about living here is it's not as convenient as the US, which is a good thing because the food is more local and it's more fresh and you have to cook everything from scratch. But some nights you're tired and it's really hard to find good pre-made items that are available in Spain.
Yeah. They don't make it easy. It's like, oh, I want like a really fast dinner to just put on the table. And then the next thing you know, you're cooking a whole meal because the prepared food that you have here is just not very good. But I guess it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
You end up cooking more, even though maybe, because the more you have like prepared convenient food, the more you're going to eat that. And it's not as healthy. So maybe it's more convenient, but not as healthy.
Yes. It forces you to slow down.
It does.
That's one thing about living here, and I think in other places in Europe, is that it just forces you to slow down a lot more than living in the United States.
It does. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to your hobbies.
Okay.
I'm excited about this one. Tell us about your hobbies.
One of my biggest hobby is that I do ceramics. So I make ceramics, and mostly I make cups and plates and bowls and things that you would use every day in your life. In fact, we have 2 of my mugs here today that we would have coffee or tea in.
Look at this mug, you guys. Like, how cool. It's like, it's not even like a real mug. It's like a little, I don't know. It's really creative, this little shape that's here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. There's been multiple episodes where I'm like showing everyone, look at my new mug that I made. And no, one was a mug that you made me. And then I showed an olive bowl. And then the mug that I made. It's been a few things now. But why did you start doing that?
I started doing it when I was pregnant with my first child, and I was really wanting to do something like crafty and with my hands. And so I started taking classes at a studio, a ceramic studio near my house. And one thing led to another. And then I was taking a lot of classes and learning a lot and spending a lot of hours working in the studio. And even on days when I would try to make a piece and it would fall apart or something happened or it broke, it didn't matter to me. I was still so happy just to have the experience of making something with my hands. It just brought me a lot of joy. So it was something I definitely knew that was important to me.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to keep doing.
It's something so special, right? Like, I have talked about this so many times on the show, how making something with my hands feels. And, how that feels to actually make a mug and like every day when I drink coffee out of the mug that I made, like, I think I made this. I made this. Like, it
is fun.
Yeah. And because I feel like a lot of us have jobs where we're like at the computer and we are working, but you don't see a physical result, right? And like with pottery and ceramics, like you get these beautiful results. Like, and same with making bread, which I love. And these things where it's like, oh, I worked and like, look at this. It would be the same also, I think, with, say, woodworking. If you work with your hands, or if you're someone who builds things, or you work with iron, or even people who fix things with their hands, like something is really broken and they fix it. That's also got to be really rewarding.
Yeah. Or sewing or knitting. Yeah. Any of those things. Yeah. I actually brought this mug today because I don't know if you can see, but it has a very small little like dent right here.
Yeah.
It has a chip and it's not perfect. But instead of throwing it away, I decided that it would be important to keep it because it reminds me that doing this hobby is not for the perfection of it. It's really for the joy of the making of it.
Yeah, that's true. My mug has these like, it's not straight and it's not flat. And it's like, oh, but that's perfect for me. Like this imperfect, perfect type thing. It's really, really cool, and not something that I really knew so much about until recently, until I started kind of doing these more artistic things like with my hands. So that's really cool.
What really brings me the most joy is showing other people how to do it and watching their experience as well. So it really makes me happy when I have other people in the studio and we're working together, and I can kind of have them experience a little of what I experienced when I first started to learn ceramics.
Yeah, she's so good at teaching, and it's fun because
thank you.
You are good at teaching. And like, it'll be some of us in there, and she does it in the garage of her house. She invites people over and we're all making things and we talk. And for me, it's so much better doing that than just having a coffee with people, because you're working on something together, and it's really special what you do. And I also think that is important to also do things to bring people together.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get lazy and we're like, I just be at my house and do my own thing and blah. But if you make a little effort to plan things with friends, to get people together, it always feels good after, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
And I didn't go to school to be doing ceramics. And I think at points I've thought, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because I wasn't trained professionally in it. I was trained like on some classes and then a lot of like practice on my own. But then I think then it would just stop you from doing it. If everything had to be some professional degree or something. It would just stop you from actually doing the thing that you want to do. So I say try something you like and keep on doing it. And even if you aren't an expert in it, that doesn't mean that you can't do it and can't enjoy the process.
It's a really good point. It's actually the same with this YouTube channel because I knew I kind of wanted to do this. And I also knew when I started, like it wasn't perfect. These videos that I was making, but it was something. I was like, just create the channel, just do it. And then as you go, you learn and you're like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. And there's also something really beautiful about learning, right? Like, and just that whole process is really nice.
It's about kind of like speaking a new language.
Yeah.
You just have to start speaking.
And then you just learn. You learn, and then there's good days and there's bad days, and you're embarrassed and you're happy, and it's like this roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. But it's better to be on the roller coaster, I think, than watching it from.
Yeah. That's a good fun app.
Thanks.
Is there any advice you would have for language learners? For anyone watching the channel?
I would say keep watching and keep trying to speak. Maybe there's someone in your community or a Facebook group you could join to reach out to talk to someone in English or whatever language you're learning, really. And don't get hard on yourself. I would say be kind to yourself and keep going and keep trying things that challenge you. As my husband would say, challenge yourself without judgment.
Very good. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many ways now that online or like in your community, you can find someone who's trying to learn your language that you speak and see if they can do an exchange with you in English. That's a great thing. And they just kind of try to look for these resources.
Yeah.
Right?
And I know a lot of people who have had a lot of success in learning by watching shows on television in the language they're trying to learn, or listening to shows or podcasts in the language that they're trying to learn. And that, I think, is always a helpful way. I know that I watch a lot of Spanish television series, and actually it helps me to kind of learn the way some of the words are pronounced and the flow of some like sentences that might be different than English.
Yeah. And it makes a difference, right? Like if you're watching something that you actually enjoy.
Exactly.
And then you're also learning at the same time. That's so important. You don't feel like you're like studying. And that really does help your brain. When your brain is having fun, it like learns better.
Yeah.
It's much easier for it to
It's true.
absorb information.
Yeah. And my children speak 3 languages. And my son, when he's speaking in Spanish, because of the fact that he learned Spanish from native Spanish speakers here, he speaks with like the Spanish way of using your hands and the way you would say a sentence. And it's really funny to me because he already has these native mannerisms, ways of saying things that you would only learn from watching a native speaker speak Spanish. And that's why watching shows in English might be helpful to you guys, or this type of thing, because you could learn how native English speakers would communicate.
Yeah. That's really a good point. Okay, so last question. What's it like being friends with me? What kind of friend am I? Has to be. I told her, I'm going to ask you this. It has to be nice.
No, that's not hard. Maria is an amazing friend, and she's always so thoughtful and cares about everyone around her. And I'm really, really so grateful to have her here.
She's so sweet. I'm thankful to have you.
Aww.
Isn't it great she had this idea? Okay, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we cannot wait to see you in the next episode.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.